Good evening. Good to see you again, AJ.
Good to see you, Paul.
Yeah. As we have said before, we are Final Authority Podcast, and I'm Paul, your host, Soundscapes Media Group, and AJ with radio station KAJW.
Radio KAJW, located on Live 365. You can find us at Instagram at Radio KAJW, and there's a link right on the profile that'll play the radio station for you. And then you can go to another great way to listen to the station is to download the Live 365 app and search Radio KAJW. The app works great.
Yeah, I use the app in my car and I connect it and listen to your wonderful playlists. It's just a wonderful uh, a tribute to some really great music.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a weekly podcast all about vinyl, and one of the great spirits of the vinyl community is sharing what we know and what we've experienced with others, and tonight is no different. um, the first thing I'd like to cover is I'd like to show you a record that you probably don't know is a record, but you probably know of it. And I got back into uh, the Shawshank Redemption soundtrack through a really great YouTube music guy, Rick Beato. Really a super passionate guy about music, and he's analytical, but also gets into the core of what really makes music great. Anyway, he interviews the composer Thomas Newman in a wonderful uh, article, and it just reconnected me with this soundtrack, which, of course, this is a fantastic movie, and the music really takes you through an emotional journey. This was available in 180 gram vinyl, and it really does the soundtrack, the music, as well as bring you back through the film more auditorially. So I recommend that.
Looking forward to listening to it. Offhand, I can't really recall the music. I mean, I know it's, it's the weird thing is I think I've seen that movie 100 times. It's one of those films, right, that everybody says whenever it's on TV, you can't turn it off.
Right.
And I remember the music being chilling, but nothing like melodic, memorable. So it'd be interesting to give. I've never given it a listen
It's
by itself.
Yeah, I think if you focus on the music, you'll really realize the brilliance. It's a pretty dark movie. Yeah, if and so there are a lot of dissonant tones and a lot of minor, feels. Um, uh, but the payoff is the last track, which the lead character has to go through literally through a bunch of stuff in order to get his freedom, and the music tells that story.
Yeah, I kind of
So
remember the very end of the
yeah,
soundtrack being
yeah,
thrilling.
yeah. Well, and the opening track is the second one is the Stoic theme, which is really just the sort of you know puts a real gloomy sort of a cloud on the whole
Cool.
going to prison vibe. So anyway, it's definitely worthy of a listen. Great compositions, fantastic recording. This was recorded by Dennis Sands, who's just a brilliant orchestral engineer, and yeah, just loads of top guys on this
Cool.
on this record. Yeah.
Looking
All
forward
right.
to checking it.
I'm hoping you've got something to share with me. Ooh, that is
How about that album
beautiful.
cover?
That is
This just
awesome.
this just arrived in on the on the front porch today. I was excited about it.
Right.
Tropical Goth Club. Dean Farida, his second solo album.
Dig it.
You might have heard that name. He was a member of Queens of the Stone Age and The Dead Weather with Jack White and Alison Mosshart. And also, he joined the latest incarnation of the Rockin' Tours. So I listened to it once today. It's great. It's coming off of, been, as we've talked about, just dove into the Revolver deluxe set. So it was nice to hear the Beatles influences on this record. There's some really strong Beatles influences, which are really cool. Nice lyric sheet.
Yeah.
And
Love that. And that lyric sheet is an insert.
It is.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, that's
and a beautiful, of course, Third Man Records.
Yeah.
180 gram, perfect piece of wax.
Yeah.
So good record.
Well, Jack White embraces the format. He's got the record stores in Detroit and Nashville, and he really backs it up. We'd love to have him on. If anybody knows Jack White and they're watching, give us a ring and let us know how we can get in touch with them. Oh my gosh, that would be crazy. Well, cool. Hey, I saw some interesting new product news the other day, and a company based out of where is that? Switzerland, Nagra, mostly known for their field recorders, has gotten into the phono cartridge business, and so in the AbsoluteSound.com news feed, they announced that they've got their first ever phono cartridge, and it's really got a great look. We'll have a link in the show notes so people can go check out the article, and that's a little blurb on what's new in Gearland.
How about this sentence? This sentence describing a stiff ruby cantilever is mated to a high-strength titanium structure featuring a DLC diamond-like carbon coating. Sounds good.
Dig it, man. Hey, anytime you get your ruby with your titanium, man, you got to fuse those two elements together.
Cool. Yeah, it looks super cool.
I think as we get farther and farther away from the origins of the phonograph, I think how these elements work, it becomes a little bit more mysterious. And there's a lot of magic in the whole analog recording process. From when the microphones pick up changes in air pressure and turn it into small little electrical voltages, to when those electrical voltages are mixed together and then put onto magnetic tape, and so they've changed state again, and then you read it off the magnetic tape and back through the console and back onto another magnetic tape machine, and eventually you go to the mastering where that magnetic field is then returned into an analog signal, which then gets turned into motion, which cuts your lacquer, and then eventually you get to the phono cartridge, which converts those movements in the microgroove back into little micro electric voltages. So you can imagine just how many times the signal is changing its state. I mean, it's literally like going from liquid to solid, and I think there's something really important in contemporary recordings that are all digital. There may be one state change, two state changes, maybe. Some guys are, plugging their synths, or sometimes the synth is in the computer and it's being recorded into the digital audio workstation. So the first time that it ever sort of moves air is when it's in your house, So, or in your ears. Anyway, but there's some real beauty in these. They're kind of artifacts in a way, but there are people who are making, taking the technology, advancing it with new materials like titanium and so on, and these are old companies, manufacturers that have long been known for their quest for sonic perfection. So it's great to see Nagra getting into a slightly different field.
Cool.
Yeah. Now I wanted to bring a project or a vinyl record to the attention that I know that we both know, and that's Big Star #1 record. You remember this one, I'm sure.
I am influenced musically by that record, Paul.
Yeah.
Like
Alex Chilton.
Like hundreds of others songwriters.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Yeah, one of those bands that never got the fame and just renown that they probably should have, but because of what you're saying, because they were so influential on so many other songwriters and musical artists, that you can hear it, and then when you go back to a record like this, you just go, oh, that's where it came from, But this was, and it was rock and roll, real album-oriented rock coming out of Memphis, Tennessee, in the early '70s.
Yeah,
so
kind of the beginning of garage rock as well. It was a little less slick than what was going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. So all folks at home, pick this up. Big Star, #1 record. A couple of the tracks that's on it, of course, the one that I love, Feel, which is the opening song on that, and then In the Street. I was thinking that Back of the Car was on this one, but it's not. That's a different record.
I guess I'll mention, just for anybody that doesn't know. I think the first time I ever really knew who Big Star was, I was reading a REM article. I was a big REM fan, and that's kind of the first major band that I heard, influenced by them. I'm sure I know there's more, but older bands than REM, but that's when I first heard it. So I know they're
I think
hugely influenced.
They influenced music that was coming out of Atlanta and down into Florida and so on. So you can.
I was also a big Replacements fan. So the Alex Chilton song I was like, who's Alex Chilton? Who's the lead singer of Big Star? So anyway.
Yeah. So good record there. And then how'd you like to talk about an album that is near and dear to both of our hearts from Soundscapes Media Group?
Yeah, man.
We've got the Greg Spiro acoustic project. Really proud about this. It's a piano jazz record done in the classic, sort of format of piano, drums, bass. Recorded completely live. So it's musicians having a conversation in the same space, a musical conversation. And this album was composed as a kind of a journey. The composer and leader Greg, was going through his own sort of personal discovery at this point, and the composition just takes you on this wonderful arc. So it's something worth listening to. Of course, we pressed it on 180 gram vinyl, as we do. And
that's my 2 cents. Another high quality product from Soundscape Media Group. It is. The package is beautiful. Pressing is
great package. The artwork. This one was designed and laid out by Spencer Porter. The guy's name is he's a young artist from Chicago area, Spencer Cole Porter, and they named him after the jazz cat Cole Porter. Was recorded by Craig Bauer. It's a great recording for Craig, and some mastering by Kevin Gray at Coherent, and some great liner notes from Lauren Tannenbaum, and you know the group. So anyway, pick it up today. Let's see. Any other? So you mentioned something earlier because we're on this sort of Beatles revolver kick. Have you heard about the recent box set that was just announced today? I think.
No.
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 Yeah, well,
I
you
was
know,
working.
I should be more prepared.
I was working.
Apparently, yes.
Now you got me all
Hey, I was
excited.
working too. So I should be more prepared than I am, but I see we have a little bit more time. So the box set. Let's. I'm going to give some notes to the editor here. Cut all this stuff out while I go on a search here.
What is it? What is it?
It's 80 singles. But stand by.
80s Beatles singles. 80 of them.
So here's again. I'll send you a link, and then you can scan it really quick. Seven-inch singles in a wood crate. I can't tell if it's Beatles or if it's McCartney. I get the feeling, because this is just saying McCartney.
Yeah.
It might just be his music.
Yeah,
So this was a total tease. You know, when I saw this, it's just 80 singles chosen from the singer throughout his solo career. Yeah, so this is all McCartney stuff.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
I'm going to pass
So,
on that box, Paul.
yeah. It's not the Beatles. But anyway, for the viewers at home,
single Beatles box shows up. I'll get that.
right. Anyway, for the viewers and the listeners at home, we are referring to the announcement that just came out today about Paul McCartney releasing a special box set of hand-selected singles from his solo career.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's something to watch. It says that they should be hitting the stores and, of course, the interwebs on December 2nd. So watch this space, and it should be interesting just to review what McCartney has decided to hand select, what he thinks are his very best. But I think the overarching point here is vinyl is back, baby, in a major way.
Yeah.
And this is what I love. And there are so many artists, young and old, who are re-embracing the format because of the artwork and the lifestyle and just the it's just a little bit more of a social quality to music on vinyl. And so for that reasons, we have Vinyl Authority, this here passionate podcast for people who love stuff that's pressed.
Proud to be a part of it, Paul. Thanks.
Yes, it's always a pleasure having you, and you've always got great commentary. Every single album recommendation that you've made, I've been listening to and I have completely enjoyed.
Nice.
And again, that's the spirit of the lifestyle.
I got the Porcupine Tree record on my radar. I just got to go pick one up. I know where.
There you go.
So
there you go. It's a good one. It's a good one.
It's on a lot of people's top 10 records of the year, actually.
Yes. I think it's worthy, and it's because Steven Wilson just put so much effort into it. I mean, it's good music, just absolutely stellar playing, and just lovingly, packaged. And this guy really knows his stuff, and so he's definitely, whatever Steven Wilson does, I will usually give it a listen because he is such a craftsman in any aspect that he's taking on a project. So
Cool.
it's really good.
All right,
All
man.
right, and with that, I think we'll wrap it up, man. It's always a pleasure, and until next time, keep on spinning.
Rock on.
Rock on. Okay.